I was raised as an only child in a wealthy family, blessed with fair skin, beauty, and a lively, cheerful personality, which made me quite popular. Before going abroad to study, my teacher asked me to help take care of a new transfer student from a poor background. I helped her integrate into our class, but she started a rumor that I wanted to be her sister-in-law. On my 18th birthday, during a rainy night, her thuggish brother broke into my house. Afterwards, he boasted everywhere. She's going abroad, how innocent could she be? The experience was splendid. Unable to bear the humiliation, I jumped off the rooftop. In their haste to reach me, my parents met with a car accident and both died. In the blink of an eye, I found myself reborn on the day the poor transfer student arrived. The morning reading session was loud, but it couldn't drown out the pounding of my heart. The pain from falling off the rooftop hadn't faded. And my eyes were drawn to the year 2022 on a test paper. I had been reborn a year before. On the day the transfer student arrived, my deskmate waved a hand in front of my face. What are you daydreaming about? Hurry up and review. We have a quiz soon. I almost choked as I muttered, okay. The bell rang, and the homeroom teacher walked up to the podium with a smile. He gestured to the timid girl at the door and said gently, "It's okay, come on in." He affectionately placed his arm around the girl's shoulder. "This is our new transfer student, excellent in both character and learning. She's ranked first in her previous school. Come, introduce yourself to everyone." The girl's worn-out uniform was clearly too large for her, her shoes were muddy, and she nervously twisted her fingers, emitting an aura of discomfort. "Hello everyone, my name is Cece, and I hope to become good friends with all of you. My dream is to study and work hard to give my grandmother a better life." Suddenly, she looked up, revealing bright red cheeks. Which rural school did this country girl come from? What's that on her face? A monkey's butt. It's so red. Teenagers, far less polished than adults, speak their minds outright. Whispers quickly spread across the classroom. Hearing the ridicule, Cece's head, which had just lifted, dropped again. "All right. Quiet down," the teacher promptly intervened. Glancing over at me, "Lynn, I'm Lynn, well liked for my friendly nature, getting along well with teachers and classmates." Here, I raised my hand in response. My classmates looked towards me with grinning faces, waiting for the teacher to continue. "Cece, this is Lynn, our class representative. If you can't find me, you can always go to her." "Lynn, did you hear that? Help me look after our new classmate when you can." Cece's eyes sparkled as she looked straight at me, hearing me say, "Of course." She finally relaxed, no longer clenching her fists. I was determined not to let the teacher down and to take good care of Cece, along with all the pain from my past life. The only available seat was next to the trash can, so the teacher had Cece sit there first. I went to the water dispenser and filled 3 large cups of water, handing them to Cece. "You must be thirsty without a water bottle. Here, have some water." Feeling my warmth, Cece was moved almost to tears. "Thank you." She turned her head, thinking I couldn't see, and smugly curled her lips, rolling her eyes. Cece had neither books nor materials. In my previous life, I took the initiative to move next to her and study with her. Later, we continued to share a desk. This time, however, I'm no longer going to offer help just because I can sense her reluctance due to my empathy. Good intentions directed at the wrong person can be a disaster. During class, Cece quickly drank all 3 cups of water. Soon after, she clenched her legs together and squirmed uncomfortably. It seemed like she needed to use the restroom. As soon as the class ended, Cece rushed over to me and said, "Lynn, I pulled out an English language tape from my desk and put on my headphones. Just a moment, I'm unsure about the pronunciation of a word." That moment turned into an entire break. When the bell rang for the next class, Cece's face had turned the color of a liver, and she had to endure another period. After class, I took the initiative and pulled her with me, apologizing. "Oh, I'm sorry. I got so engrossed in the listening exercises that I lost track of time. The teacher asked me to take good care of you, so let me show you around the campus first." Making sure to pass by the restroom was part of the plan, and Cece didn't object. The student restroom was nearby, but I deliberately took her around the back. There was something else I needed to confirm. Just when Cece seemed like she couldn't hold it any longer, I stopped in front of a fountain and started explaining leisurely. "This fountain only operates at this time of day. The principal is quite strict about." When I turned around, Cece was gone. I waited there and saw her coming out of the faculty restroom. Our school's faculty restroom is quite hidden, and even students who have been here for 3 years might not find it. Cece finding it right away meant she was very familiar with the school. Cece must also be reborn. Things were getting interesting. In the evening, my dad, after picking up my mom, came to drive me home from school. Dad, Mom, I rushed into their arms, acting spoiled. Oh, you're so big now and still so clingy. Aren't you afraid your teachers and classmates will laugh at you? Not at all. I'm Daddy's girl and Mommy's girl. As we were about to enter our residential area and stopped at a red light, I noticed an elderly man with graying hair struggling with a large bag of trash, followed by a student in a uniform. This student seems very kind, my mom remarked, watching from the window. Let's get out and help too. That student was none other than Cece, a resilient little girl who lived with her grandmother, embodying the spirit of being poor but ambitious, in my past life. She had won over my parents' affection in exactly this way. She lived with her grandmother in an underground parking lot, and because it was too cold in the winter, my parents let her stay at our house and even considered her their goddaughter. However, after causing my death, she bought my parents a high-value insurance policy. Tragically, my parents soon died in a car accident. Cece not only inherited a large amount of money but also received a substantial settlement. The more I thought about it, the more suspicious it seemed. Just as my dad was about to drive into the residential area, I opened my backpack and said, "Dad, I think I left my homework at school. Is that so? Look again, and if you really can't find it, I'll drive you back to get it." My mom playfully tapped my forehead. Why don't you just leave your brain at school as well?" I stalled for time by the roadside. I never imagined I'd miss meeting Cece, unexpectedly. I witnessed an even more amusing scene. After Cece pushed her grandmother away with a cart full of junk, she came back pushing her from the other direction. She wasn't helping at all. She was actually mistreating her grandmother, using her as a prop for her act. My parents also noticed something was off and looked serious. "This child is up to no good." "Oh look, I found the homework," I pretended to just notice. "Isn't that Cece, the new transfer student from a poor family in our class?" "Really? Then stay away from her." It started drizzling. Cece and her grandmother looked even more pitiful in the rain. "Let's go in through the back door." Dear, my parents had a very poor impression of Cece, and this time, they definitely wouldn't consider her as a goddaughter. I felt a bit relieved. I used the excuse of having lost something to check the surveillance footage from that evening. I saw Cece dragging her grandmother through the heavy rain for hours without catching up to my parents and me. In the end, she was so frustrated that she knocked her grandmother to the ground. "Good morning, Lynn." The next morning, as soon as I stepped downstairs, Cece greeted me with a smile. I feigned surprise. "Morning, how did you know where I live?" Panic flashed across Cece's face, then quickly turned into a pitiful tone. "My grandma and I live in the underground parking garage of your building. I saw you enter this building yesterday." Oh, she's quite the storyteller. Wasn't it pouring rain until midnight? Getting closer, I could even smell the scent of dirty rainwater on her. The underground garage is no match for my home. There's no place for her to wash her clothes or take a bath. I pinched my thigh hard and squeezed out some tears. "Cece, I knew you were poor, but I didn't realize you were living in an underground garage." Cece's pride was hurt, but she dared not say anything because she was still hoping I would take pity on her and let her stay at my place. After a long while, she asked with teary eyes, "Lynn, could you please not tell anyone about me living in the garage?" "Sure," I agreed right away. "I won't tell anyone, but I can't control what others say." "Lynn, hurry up. We're going to be late for school." My childhood friend Sean called out loudly, waving at me. Seeing Cece, he scratched his head, then suddenly remembered something. "Cece, right, I know you. The new transfer student in Lynn's class from a very needy family. You and your grandma live in the underground garage. My dad manages it. Let him know if you need anything." My childhood friend isn't known for much else. He's just really well informed and quite the gossip. By that afternoon, the fact that Cece and her elderly grandmother lived in the underground garage had spread throughout the entire school. Our homeroom teacher, who was quite young and enthusiastic, arranged for Cece to have a dormitory room by the afternoon. Cece awkwardly declined. "Teacher, I still need to take care of my grandma." "Poor child, the teacher has already arranged for your grandma to be taken to a shelter." Cece's eyes widened like saucers. She reluctantly accepted the arrangement, almost gritting her teeth as she said thank you. Without Cece clinging to me on the way to and from school, it was a relief. Her plan to move into my house was temporarily thwarted, but at school, she stuck to me more than ever, as if the teacher's casual remark about helping her had given her enormous entitlement. "Lynn, that pen looks really nice. Can I borrow it?" "Nonsense, a Mont Blanc pen worth thousands. Can it be cheaper?" I handed it to Cece. "Use it. It's easy to go from frugality to luxury, but hard to revert back to frugality from luxury." Cece's vanity is off the charts. This is the trap I meticulously prepared for her. "Lynn, your hair clip is so pretty, can I borrow it?" "A Meow Meow hair clip, over 3,000 each. Lynn, you're..." Whenever Cece wants to borrow something, I generously lend it to her. The difference is, in my past life, seeing her pitiful eyes, I proactively shared everything with her at home, to protect her pride. I never mentioned it at school. This time, every request she makes is in the classroom, under the watchful eyes of our classmates. The classmates secretly call her freeloader. My deskmate couldn't stand it and reminded me, "Lynn, be careful, don't lend her everything." I don't think she has ever returned anything. What sweets. A week later, Cece's school uniform arrived. The moment she walked into the class wearing the new uniform, everyone was quiet for a long time, turning their heads to look at me, because she looked too much like me. Cece, who was almost the same build as me, just a bit shorter, now wore my pink Meow Meow hair clip, her hair tied up just like mine, even the placement of the clip identical. "Lynn, don't we look like sisters now?" I chuckled dismissively, not wanting to deal with the sly fox. She took out her phone. "Lynn, let's be friends on social media." My heart skipped a beat. In my past life, she stole photos from my social media, pretending to chat and fall in love with her delinquent brother as me. This time, my social media photos are all atmosphere shots without showing my face. Just to be safe, I decided to hire a bodyguard. I asked Sean to find Brian, the school bully. When I met Brian, he was standing in the corridor, with a line of girls waiting to give him love letters. "Hey, why are you cutting the line?" Reluctantly, I lined up. Fortunately, Brian was quick to reject them. Soon it was my turn, and I handed him a thick leather envelope. "Please be my..." I hadn't finished saying bodyguard. Brian weighed my envelope. "Okay, I agree." "What, that fast?" But I haven't finished speaking yet. Brian lazily lifted his eyelids. "With so many people, your envelope is the thickest." "Well done, of course, it's my years of saved New Year's money, why wouldn't it be thick?" After speaking, Brian turned and left, acting all high and mighty. Suddenly, he paused, came back, and stared at my badge for a long time. "Lynn, okay, I've got it. Why do I feel like this school bully is a bit off?" "Never mind, let's leave it for now." In the evening after school, a few vocational high school ruffians on motorcycles blocked the school gate. My deskmate grabbed my hand, making sure no one was around. "Lynn, did you hear? Cece has been telling everyone how good you are to her. She's got her eyes on her brother. She wants to be his sister-in-law." That thug holding roses at the door, that's her brother. Following the direction my classmate pointed, I spotted Evan in the crowd, the man who often haunted my nightmares. There he was, leaning against the bulletin board, puffing away at a cigarette. Bright red ash fell on the blood-red roses, causing the delicate petals to wither rapidly. Evan was the same age as us, but he never wore the vocational high school's uniform. He wore an earring in his left ear, and his eyebrows were slit at the last third. His eyes were slightly upturned, and his smile was mischievous and somewhat frightening. After his parents divorced and started new families, neither wanted him, so he was raised by his alcoholic uncle. Known for his fierceness in fights, he was a notorious school bully with a lot of popularity. Many young girls clamored to call him their big brother. Cece was one of them. Through the smoke, I glanced at Evan, as if sensing something. He also looked up at me. A wave of physical discomfort made me turn around and hide instantly. My classmate gripped my trembling hand. She was about to cry from fear herself, yet she comforted me. "Lynn, it's okay, I'm here with you." I hugged her. "Thank you, classmate." But I knew I had to face what came next alone. "You go back first. He's looking for me, and I can handle it." My classmate looked troubled, but I pushed her away. I grabbed my hair, took out scissors, and with a swift motion, cut off the long hair I had kept for over a decade. Calm down, calm down. He won't recognize me like this." I gripped my backpack strap, my heart pounding nervously. Suddenly, my backpack was lifted from behind. I stiffly turned around to see Brian showing his white teeth, grinning unnaturally, and shouting loudly, "Lynn, did you leave school on your own? Dare you not wait for me?" I quickly covered Brian's mouth with my hand and dragged him to a corner. "My goodness, I was hiding from someone. And you're shouting so loud, afraid that others can't find me, right?" Brian's eyelashes trembled, wanting to say something, but my hand effectively silenced him. The warm, soft touch of his lips was transmitted to my palm. I blushed and withdrew my hand. "Is that idiot at the door squatting for you?" Brian saw the rose in Evan's hand and cursed under his breath. In the time it took me to nod, he had already dragged me in front of Evan. "Lynn, I've got you covered." Only then did I notice that Brian, who appeared thin and frail in his loose blue and white school uniform, actually had clearly defined abdominal muscles. No wonder he was the most popular boy among the girls at school. Brian was even taller than Evan, his presence more imposing. He smiled, a look more intimidating than if he'd been frowning. Are you sure you still want to go after her? Evan looked me up and down. Casually, he tossed the rose into a trash can. Evan clapped his hands. My mistake. Evan might be fierce in fights, but Brian was not only fierce, he fought recklessly and was also a rich second generation. Even thinking with his toes, Evan wouldn't want to clash with Brian. As we walked on the way home, it just hit me. Oh right, Brian is the bodyguard I hired. Why am I hiding from him? I turned around to find Brian still following me. He's truly a qualified bodyguard. I gave him a thumbs up. Hey, who is this? Sean approached me before he recognized me. He stared at my short hair, gesticulating in the air for quite a while. Lynn, you cherished your hair so much, and you cut it. I touched my unevenly cut hair and curiously asked Brian. Sean and I grew up together and he didn't even recognize me. How did you recognize me in the crowd? Brian slightly tilted his head, avoiding my gaze. He carelessly ruffled my hair and chuckled confidently. PSH, it was a piece of cake for me. Oh. Thinking about Evan's ominous glance when he left sent shivers down my spine. By the way, Brian raised his eyebrows and handed me my backpack. It was so natural that I had forgotten when he had taken it. Could you pick me up and drop me off at school every day? With all the money I'm paying, this request should be manageable, right? Brian's warm hand rested on my shoulder. The pressure was light but it dispelled my fear of Evan. Coward. His tone was light, almost affectionately teasing at the end. Just as I wanted to probe further, he had already walked away, leaving only his back to me. Hey, did you agree? Brian waved his hand, his tone lazily familiar. Or what else? So, he meant yes, right. Sean pondered for a moment with his hand on his chin. Lynn, are you facing some trouble? I smiled and shook my head, then nodded. Yes, but I'm working on it. You know you can ask me for help, too. Sean's gaze was unusually serious, but I just smiled and went upstairs to my apartment. In my previous life, when everyone sided with Cece, I had sought his help. The rumors were rampant. Everyone was blaming me for being inappropriate with Evan. I thought Sean would stand by me, but his eyes full of disappointment told me to behave myself. The present Sean hadn't done anything wrong, neither had the past one. It was just that he hadn't made the firm choice to stand by me as I had hoped. The next morning, Brian showed me what else meant. He actually had a driver pick me up for school in a Maybach. The black Maybach stood out conspicuously at the base of my apartment building. Brian even rolled down the window and flipped through a newspaper. Such a typical rich kid. Even the lady selling pancakes at the corner was taken aback. I quickly passed by Brian, wearing a hat and mask. He grabbed me by the back of my neck. Lynn, where are you off to? No, my lord, can we keep it low-key? Brian swallowed. Buy me a pancake with sausage and egg, and I'll get out and walk with you. Wallet 5. Make sure it has sausage and egg. Wallet 9. This is torture. I began to wonder if hiring Brian was the right decision. Brian, you're good at fighting, right? I tried to console myself with that thought. Want to see my abs? He straightened up and leaned towards me, jokingly. I get it, you're curious. Come on, try it yourself, he said, offering the food. No, that's okay, I replied, waving my hands dismissively. I get it, you're shy, maybe some other time. Brian elegantly finished his pancake, the morning sun casting a satisfied glow on his face, making him look like a content little fox. It's amazing how handsome he is. Even eating a pancake looks like a model shoot. 20 minutes now, Brian said, glancing at his watch with a smile that rippled across his face. No wonder you didn't want to take a car. You wanted to spend more time with me. I was speechless. Lynn, were you okay yesterday? My classmate came over to check on me but was suddenly pushed aside by Cece, her eyes red from crying. Lynn, I'm so sorry. I rolled my eyes internally and walked to my seat. Cece continued her act. It's all my fault. I let my brother see your photo. You're just too pretty. And he just, graceful and fair, a gentleman's ideal. It's natural to admire beauty. Cece deliberately downplayed the situation. But I knew she had stolen my photo to impersonate me and aggressively pursued Evan. The chat logs were explicit, and later she even spread screenshots as evidence. However, she messed up this time, not expecting Evan to confront her so soon. Oh, it's okay, it's been dealt with, I said, noticing a deep-seated resentment flashing through Cece's eyes. She was absent-mindedly twirling her hair, which I noticed as soon as I entered the classroom, and she had also cut her hair to the same length as mine. In front of the whole class, I looked straight at Cece. Was it you who said I was being nice to you just to lure Evan and become your sister-in-law? Cece's pupils dilated with panic. How could that be? Why would I say such a thing? I nodded, understanding. That's good then. To avoid any misunderstandings, I think it's better to clear things up. I was nice to you because the class teacher asked me to take care of you as you were new here and I left my sentence hanging, sizing up Cece without mentioning the word underprivileged. Her pride made her face flush with embarrassment, the resentment in her eyes becoming harder to hide. I shifted my gaze. I was only being nice because of the class teacher. I hope I don't hear any strange rumors from anyone in the future. Cece's nails dug into her palms as she nodded awkwardly. Several gossip-loving girls in the class shifted their gaze onto Cece. I realized that in a previous life, Cece had started spreading rumors about me much earlier than I had noticed, but she quickly adjusted her attitude, clinging to my arm. Lynn, you won't stop being friends with me over this, will you? Her eyes reddened as if I would be committing a grave sin if I refused. Of course not. Cece breathed a sigh of relief. For the perpetrator. Rebirth is just an opportunity to traverse the same path with more experience. The experience of victory can be gratifying and make one arrogant, but it can also lead to complacency. When will Cece realize that I, too, have been reborn? I hope it's not too late. I'm looking forward to it. Lynn, your jacket is so beautiful, Cece exclaimed, grabbing my Chanel jacket and slipping it on. The weather was getting cooler, and everyone was layering their uniforms with coats. In her previous life, Cece lived at my house. She was treated just like me, with my mom even buying matching sister outfits for us. Now, she doesn't have it as good. The pens and hair clips she uses are small items, which she finds easy to borrow from me. I underestimated how shameless Cece could be. I never expected she'd also ask to borrow clothes. Lynn, I don't really have any clothes. Can I borrow your coat? I pretended it was a difficult decision. Sorry, Cece, I really can't do that. I've sold my coats on a second-hand trading platform, and I hardly have any clothes left myself. You should try asking someone else. Cece was stunned by my refusal and stood there in shock for a while. Cece, if you don't mind, you can wear mine for now. The class monitor offered her a faded coat. Cece pursed her lips and did not accept it. My deskmate, who has always disliked Cece, bluntly said, "Oh my dear class monitor, do you think she would even consider your coat? She's the type who eyes Chanel worth tens of thousands." The rest of the classmates looked at Cece with disdain and scorn. Cece forced a smile uglier than crying and took the class monitor's coat. How could that be? Thank you, class monitor. The next time I saw the class monitor's coat, it was in the trash can in the restroom. Cece was stomping on it, a stark contrast to her usually sweet demeanor. What trash? How dare it touch me? I wasn't lying when I said I had sold many clothes because I needed the money. Hey, Maggie, keep a close eye on this shelter, especially when Cece goes back on the weekends. In her previous life, her parents died under mysterious circumstances, and Cece was experienced in claiming insurance. I had a bold suspicion. To confirm it, I paid someone to closely watch Cece and her grandmother's every move at the shelter. After venting in the restroom, Cece returned. A group of young girls surrounded me. Lynn, tell us about what happened yesterday. Yeah, I heard that after school yesterday, Brian almost fought Evan from vocational school for you. Two top dogs fighting over one school beauty. Oh my, it's just like a novel's heroine. At this age, girls are very curious about romantic gossip. Soon, I became the center of attention. Cece, feeling anxious, pushed her way in. Actually, Evan was there for me. He's my brother, and Lynn and I look so alike. He just mistook her for me. Cece changed her previous story and winked at me. She whispered in my ear, Lynn, it was my fault about Evan. I'll handle it for you. Handle what? It looks like you just want to steal the spotlight. Wow, is Evan really your brother? As expected, the conversation shifted to Cece. She covered her mouth and acted shyly. Well, not really, not by blood. But he treats me even better than a real brother would. Wow, I'm so jealous. I heard he even brought a huge bouquet of roses. Cece basked in the admiration of the crowd, clearly enjoying being the center of attention. Too bad Evan mistook the person. But Cece and Lynn really do look alike. Yeah, maybe we were sisters in a past life. Look, even our hairstyles are the same. Cece draped her arm around my shoulder, her actions affectionate. Accidentally, she knocked off my hat. My long hair cascaded down. I ran my fingers through my hair and smiled at the stunned Cece. Now everything is sorted. Evan won't mistake anyone else again. I knew that when Evan was looking for me, Cece, the mimic, was definitely observing from the shadows. That's why I wore a fake wig. I'm so tired of hearing how much we look alike. It's disgusting. Originally, our resemblance was because she copied my hairstyle, wore my hair clips, and used my stuff, constantly brainwashing the other classmates. Now, Cece has her own uneven, self-cut hair. Apart from both of us being human, there's nothing similar about us anymore. That evening, Brian was waiting for me at the school gate on his motorcycle, dressed in riding gear and wearing a black helmet. Brian did look quite handsome. But does he have some sort of condition where he suffocates if he doesn't show off? Brian removed his helmet and was fixing his hair in front of the bike's mirror. Suddenly, the disciplinary director caught him by the ear. "Think you're pretty smart, don't you? Daring to ride a motorcycle to school." As expected, Brian's motorcycle was confiscated. On the way back, Brian was quite regretful. "Lynn, you don't know, you could have been riding on the back of my bike today." "Oh, really? That's a pity." Brian scratched his head. "It's strange, I'm not unpopular, am I? Normally riding to school, no one reports me. Who could have reported me?" I laughed it off. "Yeah, who could it be? The real culprit?" I silently nodded in agreement. After the weekend break, Cece transformed into a rich person. Her hairstyle was professionally done, and she was wearing all designer clothes. She even bought Starbucks for the entire class, with gifts influencing opinions. The classmates' attitudes towards Cece changed. "Wow, Cece is so generous. Thanks for the coffee, Cece." I remember, in a previous life, Cece also suddenly became wealthy for a while, always treating people and giving gifts to win hearts. However, it happened a month later than now, after her grandmother passed away and she received a large sum from an insurance payout. "Lynn, here, this cup is specifically for you." I received the coffee with a smile. "Thank you." A message from Maggie popped up on my phone. "Last week, Cece bought a high-value commercial insurance for her grandmother, suspected of poisoning her drinking water." I shook the Starbucks in my hand and laughed. It seems my public humiliation last time really upset her. She doesn't even have the patience to wait for the insurance payout this time. Really makes one wonder where her money is coming from. After lunch break, the classroom was buzzing with people surrounding Cece. Cece covered her face with her hands, feigning a shy little girl demeanor, muttering, "Oh my, how embarrassing." Seeing me, her eyes lit up as if she saw a savior. Cece ran over and hid behind me. "Ah, Lynn. I just embarrassed myself so much." She kept saying it was embarrassing but didn't say what she did. It was only from the other girls that I found out she had gone to the wrong floor and mistook class 3 for our class. Not only did she enter the classroom, but she also sat in someone else's seat for quite a while. "Ha ha ha, Cece, you're famous now." "That's it, Cece, people from class 3 will remember you. Maybe someone has taken a liking to your clueless self." The classmates chattered away. Cece's face turned red with embarrassment while she protested, "Oh, stop it." But her pleased expression gave her away. "Guess who I just saw?" A lookout student panted. "Who? Come on, speak up." "Brian. Brian from class 3. "Oh my god, surely Brian isn't here for Cece, is he?" The rest of the classroom was even more excited than Cece herself. Cece touched her hair and said coyly, "Okay, guys, stop making things up." She had already secretly adjusted her posture, ready for when she was called. Brian leaned against the doorway, spotting me immediately. He waved. "Lynn, come out for a sec." The unexpected development caught the classmates off guard. Everyone exchanged glances, too shocked to speak. Cece managed a stiff smile, her tone unable to hide her disappointment, and her gaze towards me was almost fierce. "I told you, stop stirring things up," not wanting to be the center of attention. I stepped out into the hallway with Brian. "Ancestor, can we keep it low-key next time? Don't we have mobile phones?" Brian smiled, his eyes curving up. "Going underground." "Got it. Didn't expect you to enjoy a bit of thrill." "Me? It's confirmed. Brian just doesn't think straight." "What do you want?" "What? I can't look for you if there's nothing urgent." I turned to head back. Brian grabbed my shoulder, turning me around. "Lynn, I can't take you home tonight. I'll have Sean do it." As an understanding employer, a bodyguard should have his own life too. I nodded. "All right, I'll grant you half a day off." Brian chuckled, affectionately ruffling my hair. "Thanks, boss." Cece was indeed admired by someone in the wrong class, but it wasn't Brian, it was Jerry. Jerry was average in looks, academics, and background, but he was slick and could mingle well with both good and bad students. In a past life, Cece would complain to me about Jerry's advances while showing him goodwill, causing her great distress. Too embarrassed to reject him herself, she asked for my help. In front of class 3, I helped Cece reject Jerry. The next day, Cece accepted Jerry as her brother, and their relationship grew closer while I ended up completely offending Jerry. Jerry's few words worsened my reputation among other classmates. Later, many false rumors about me originated from Jerry. This time, I would definitely not repeat the same mistake. In the afternoon, Jerry took Cece out several times. First, he treated her to ice cream and gave her a big bag of snacks. Then, he helped her with her homework and moved her desk. The third time, he personally put a necklace on her, With Jerry, Cece was shy and happy every moment, but back in class, she was downcast and wept at her desk. With teary eyes, she pleaded with me, "Lynn, Jerry keeps approaching me, and I'm too embarrassed to refuse. Please, help me." I took her hand, stormed to class 3 with determination. The reflection in the window glass showed Cece's triumphant smile behind me. I ran into class 3, cupped my hands around my mouth, and shouted, "Jerry, Cece likes you." Cece froze. Class 3 exploded, the uproar nearly flipping the classroom. Cece, eyes red with anger and disregarding her image, screamed, "Lynn, how could you spread such nonsense and make up rumors?" Holding my chest innocently, I asked, "Did I really do that? Did I misunderstand you then? That shouldn't be the case. If you don't like Jerry, why do you never refuse him when he seeks you out? Why do you let him help you with your homework and move desks? Why accept his snacks and gifts? Aren't you still wearing the necklace he gave you around your neck?" Faced with these facts, Cece was at a loss for words. Suddenly, I covered my mouth, having an epiphany. "I thought you were just too shy to express yourself, but could it be? Are you like those deceptive girls who only take advantage of others without taking responsibility?" Cece, exposed by my words, couldn't bear the pointing fingers around her. She ran away from the scene in tears. I nodded at Jerry, "Go after her. What are you waiting for? Such people, they should really be locked together." Later that night, Sean drove me home, hesitating as he spoke. "Lynn, you seem quite different lately." "Oh, have I? Lynn, could you stop hanging out with Brian? We're just not from the same world." "Not from the same world, but I feel like you and I aren't from the same world either." It wasn't until the next day that I fully understood Sean's hesitation. Brian came to pick me up for school early in the morning wearing sunglasses. Anyone who didn't know better might think he was some celebrity, tall and with superior facial features, even just his prominent nose and attractive lips visible. He looked handsome, used to Brian's daily antics. I didn't initially sense anything wrong. "Why the sunglasses so early in the morning? Just tell me if I look cool." "Right, cool, cool my foot." I jumped up and snatched off Brian's sunglasses. There was a dark bruise above his left eye. Brian instinctively covered the wound. "What happened?" "Oh, it's nothing serious. Just had a fight with someone." Brian was tight-lipped. No matter how much I asked, he wouldn't reveal more. But his minion was different. Pretending to be angry got him talking. "The boss had a fight with Evan yesterday. Don't think the boss got the worst of it. Evan's nose is broken. He's in the hospital." I interrupted. "Why?" The minion touched his nose, mumbling softly. "Evan said you. Evan claimed you're only outwardly pure. Said you both have, you know." Brian kicked the minion away. "So, you decided to run your mouth, huh?" It all made sense now. In a past life, Cece spread rumors at our school, and Evan did outside. That's why later, when Cece brought out photos and chat screenshots, everyone believed them so easily. They had tarnished my reputation long before. But this time, both sources of rumors, inside and outside school, were cut off. I wanted to see what waves Cece could still make, in the game of life. Just a few seemingly insignificant moves can drastically influence the outcome. Unbeknownst to me, the game had already changed. I bought a boiled egg at a convenience store and commanded Brian, "Take off the sunglasses." I gently rolled the egg white over the corner of his eye. "Does it hurt?" Brian was grimacing in pain a second ago, but at my question, he smirked mischievously. "What? Grateful to me? A kiss wouldn't be too much to ask." Pointing at his cheek, he teased. Just then, someone ran past, bumping me into Brian's arms. So close, so warm, my heartbeat thundered in my ears. I can't tell if it's mine or Brian's. Unexpectedly, Brian, who doesn't seem serious, turns out to be someone who talks big. His ears turned red to the base of his neck. "The teacher is looking for me. I have to go first." I handed the egg to Brian and fled back to the classroom. I must say, Cece is quite clever. She managed to make Jerry treat her like a brother again. After school, Jerry stopped me. "Lynn, our Cece is timid and soft-hearted. Don't always bully her." Cece pretended to punch Jerry in the chest. "Hey, don't talk nonsense. Lynn is actually very nice to me. Just a bit dominating." "Lynn, don't listen to him. I understand." It must be Cece who whispered in Jerry's ear behind the scenes, asking him to lecture me. Looking at Jerry's big head, I felt like I could see the words "big grudge" written on his forehead. I don't want to argue with them. Cece always stirs things up from behind others and then disappears beautifully. I decided to ignore Brian. "Lynn, are your legs getting weak because you are old?" Leaving the classroom so slowly, Jerry's expression changed when he saw Brian. "Tell me, what do you want with Lynn? Don't come to her. Come to me." Jerry lowered his head, which was proud just a minute ago. "Brian, it's all a misunderstanding." Jerry pulled Cece away. And I saw Cece roll her eyes and mouth the word, useless, 16. I secretly followed Cece over the weekend. On the way to the shelter, she was cornered in an alley by some burly men. Weren't you supposed to pay back the money this month? Where is it, big brother? It's not the end of the month yet. I will definitely pay it by the end of this month. The lead man grabbed Cece by the collar and warned, aren't you a local student? If you don't pay, don't blame me for coming to your school. And I can't promise where the photos you left as collateral might end up. Big brother, let's talk this over, please. When Cece was thrown out, her face and body were bruised, her clothes were also dirty. Still, she smiled and said goodbye to the men. She spat on the ground, cursing everything around her. I wondered how she suddenly had money. It turns out she took out a high-interest loan. I recognized those men. They were featured in legal news in a past life. When we reached the shelter, Cece took out all her frustrations on her grandmother. Seeing no one else in the room, she fiercely grabbed her grandmother's neck. Why don't you just die? I could get the compensation money and live a good life if you died. For your granddaughter's happiness, please just die. If it weren't for Maggie, acting quickly as the caregiver, the old lady might have really been choked to death. Before leaving, she even poured a whole bottle of medicine into the grandmother's water dispenser. She thought she was flawless. But every move and expression was clearly captured by the newly installed hidden cameras at the shelter. Wednesday was the last autumn outing of our high school days. It was a day off, and everyone was in high spirits. Our class was large, and the bus couldn't fit us all, so Cece insisted on dragging me to sit with Class 3. Brian, used to being dominant, took up 2 seats on the bus by himself, wearing over-ear headphones. He rested with his eyes closed. Cece shyly tried to touch Brian, but Jerry dragged her away. Cece, I've got a seat here. The bus started, and I ended up sitting next to Brian. Brian frowned, his eyes still bleary from sleep. Upon seeing me, his eyes widened in surprise. He shifted aside and took off his headphones. Why are you here? He asked. Our class bus ran out of seats, I replied. Oh, he muttered. After a pause, he asked, do you listen to music? I glanced at his over-ear headphones. Was he offering them to me, in his entire life? Brian had never regretted not using wired headphones more. He tossed his headphones back and said, here, take these, give me your wired ones. You're kidding, Brian, your headphones are worth thousands. And you want to trade for my $50 pair? Stop talking. Are we trading or not? Okay, let's trade. Finally, Brian and I listened to the same song. Outside the window, the sun was bright, and his clear gaze was filled with me. My heart, oh my heart, the entire building for rent. All for you. Field trips were never innovative, just a hike and a communal farm meal at noon. During lunch, a little incident occurred. A boy from the kitchen chased after a cat that had grabbed a fish. This boy, Ray, was quite famous at school. His family wasn't well off. After repeating years and failing to get admitted into college, he eventually dropped out. His personality grew more eccentric over time. The kitten, with a fish bigger than itself in its mouth, ran outside. Ray frantically chased after it. Seeing this, our classmates tried to block the kitten. However, Cece started filming with her phone. It's just a fish, she said. The poor kitten hasn't eaten. What's the harm in letting it have the fish? Some cat lovers sided with Cece immediately. Exactly. Animals don't know what stealing is. Just let it eat. Cece grabbed my arm. Lynn, don't you agree? I picked up a piece of fish. Then why don't you spend $50 to buy the fish and give it to the cat? That way, the owner doesn't lose out, the kitten gets fed, and it shows off your kind and beautiful heart. Yeah, Cece, you buy it. Cornered, Cece told Ray, stop chasing it, I'll buy the fish. Ray let go, but when he later asked her for the money, she denied ever agreeing to pay. In a hidden corner, she argued, I didn't eat the fish, you let the cat escape. Why should I pay? She even posted the video online, exposing Ray's family as heartless. The restaurant's business plummeted, and they received death threats. But Cece didn't care. She was only concerned about gaining a large following and maintaining a positive image. In my past life, I felt sorry for Ray and paid for Cece. I never expected it to turn out this way this time. When we left, Ray's look towards her was chilling. A butterfly flaps its wings once, and a tsunami follows. Cece, you've sown the seeds, now let's see what fruits they bear. That evening, Cece insisted on another gathering at Evan's place, an outdoor barbecue market. To match me with Evan, she really went to great lengths, but what she didn't expect was that I also invited Brian, Sean, and Jerry to join us. Seeing so many people made Cece unhappy, though she didn't show it. She pulled Evan over and introduced him, trying to clear up any previous misunderstandings. This is Evan. I think there might have been some misunderstandings before. I hope we can talk things through and become friends. And this beautiful lady here is Lynn. You've always liked her, haven't you? Cece gave Evan a meaningful look. The last time Evan and Brian had a fight, which Evan lost, he probably felt too embarrassed to mention it. Her introduction made the whole scene incredibly awkward. I, on the other hand, enjoyed the drama and added fuel to the fire. I heard Evan and Jerry are both your brothers. Which one is the older brother and which one is the younger? Already frustrated, Evan, who was dealing with Jerry, not the easiest person, was provoked by my comment. The two ended up dragging Cece away for a confrontation. Cece looked both furious and helpless as she was pulled away. With the three troublemakers gone, the dinner became lively once again. Towards the end, Brian's friend from another school got a bit drunk and asked him, "Wow, bro, how did you manage to win over such a pretty girl?" Brian grinned from ear to ear, pulled out the envelope I had given him as a bodyguard fee, and boasted, "Why would I need to chase anyone with looks like mine? It's the other way around." He proudly patted the envelope, but his face turned pale the moment he opened it. It seemed Brian and I were not on the same wavelength. Brian pulled me aside to a secluded spot. "What is this supposed to mean?" I replied quietly. "The bodyguard fee." Brian almost laughed in disbelief. "So you've considered me as a bodyguard all this time?" I nodded and added, "And as a friend." Brian looked genuinely upset, his eyes rimmed red. I tugged at his sleeve. "We can't be dating early, right? The head teacher said it's not right." Brian licked his lips, too upset to speak. "So, are you still going to be my bodyguard?" Brian didn't answer but insisted on walking me home. At my doorstep, I looked at him with a tilted head. "Are you really mad?" Brian left me with a view of his proud silhouette. That night, he posted a picture of his motorcycle on social media with the caption, "But it's me, it's me." Unfortunately, I've sold the bike. Should I like the post or pretend I didn't see it? What a dilemma. After returning from a holiday trip, the bulletin board was plastered with inappropriate photos. My classmate showed me the digital version. Intimate photos taken in a small hotel, with Evan and a faceless girl. My classmate whispered a warning, "Be careful, some people are saying that girl is you." Cece hadn't changed a bit, still playing the same old tricks as before. This time, however, there were no rumors about me outside the school, apart from what Cece believed. I pointed out a mole on my shoulder. "How could it be me? The girl in the photo doesn't have this mole." "True, but that hairpin looks really familiar." Seeing that no one suspected me, Cece grew desperate. "Right, isn't that Lynn's hairpin?" I smiled at Cece. "I remember lending it to you. Everyone saw it." "Right." Cece tapped on her pencil case, pretending to dust it off. "I gave it back to you a long time ago. You're not going to pin this on me, right?" Cece was clearly trying to pin the identity of the girl in the photo on me by pointing out a scratch on the hairpin. That scratch was there when I borrowed it, of course. I had made the scratch myself. For this day alone, Lynn, it's not wrong to like someone. There's no need to be shy about it. Cece deliberately made others think I liked Evan. My previous denials were just out of embarrassment. After hearing Cece's words, the way several classmates looked at me changed. I didn't defend myself. Instead, I looked straight at Cece. "Did you really return what you borrowed from me?" Of course. Cece didn't understand why I suddenly asked this. And she clearly lacked confidence. "Oh, that's strange. Why haven't I received anything then? Let me see. A Miomio hairpin worth over 3,000 each is enough for a legal case. And there are several of them, plus my Mont Blanc pen. I've calculated it. The total is 170,000. That's a significant amount. I need to call the police right away." I had just dialed a number. Cece grabbed my hand. "Lynn, could you be mistaken? Maybe you forgot it at home." "No, I never bought many things that expensive. I bought them all for you. I only lent them to you, and now you say you've returned them, but I don't have them here, so they must have been stolen." Cece's eyes darted around quickly. Just after I finished the police call, she grabbed her bag, intending to head to the restroom. I stopped her. "You can go to the restroom, but maybe leave your bag here." Cece's eyes teared up, looking wronged. "How can you accuse me like this? I just wanted to go to the bathroom." The people around murmured in disapproval. "That's right. It might not be Cece who didn't return them. Maybe Lynn really did forget them at home." As time ticked by, Cece desperately tried to dispose of the evidence, clutching her bag and trying to rush out. I tripped her. "Ah, Lynn, that was too much." Clatter. The contents of Cece's bag spilled all over the floor. "Look, isn't that Lynn's hairpin?" "Yes, and the pen too." Cece frantically stuffed the items back into her bag, insisting, "I bought these with my own money." "I returned yours." I snatched the hairpin from her hand, lifting it for everyone to see the scratches on it. "Really, these scratches look very familiar to me, just like mine." and the same as those in the scandalous photo. The students buzzed with various comments. Some said Cece borrowed things and never returned them, claiming them as her own. Others gossiped about her private life and the inappropriate photos. No one doubted anymore that the person in the photos was me. In just a few minutes, Cece became the center of attention throughout the school. The campus forum was abuzz with gossip about her, more than one could keep up with. Seeing that the matter of borrowing my things was beyond redemption, Cece wisely clung to my legs. Lynn, I must have remembered wrong. I thought I had already returned them. Please, can you not call the police? Oh dear, why didn't you say so sooner? Look. The police are already here. Cece was taken away for questioning. In consideration of our being classmates, I signed a letter of forgiveness, but everyone knew now that Cece was the person in those indecent photos. Jerry even came looking for her. She went to the bulletin board every day to tear down the photos. But new ones appeared daily. The first day's photos were posted by her, to frame me, but who posted them afterwards, no one knew. Cece was overwhelmed every day. Time flew by, and then came the day to nominate outstanding students. Our school had nomination slots. Considering everything, the outstanding student certificate could add extra points. Generally speaking, whoever receives the title of outstanding student usually has a high chance of being recommended for admission to university. Last year, I hadn't decided to study abroad yet. Based on overall performance and votes from teachers and classmates, I was awarded the title of outstanding student. Lynn, since you're going abroad, why don't you let someone who needs it have the spot? Sure, teacher, I have no problem with that. Before the teacher could arrange anything, Cece raised her hand and stood up. With tears in her eyes, she asked me, Lynn, could you give me the spot for the outstanding student? I know everyone here comes from wealthy families, and I'm the only one who has nothing. I can only get into a better university through this recommendation. Cece was always good at moral coercion. She had managed to secure a recommendation the same way in my previous life, too. The teachers and classmates looked at me, waiting for my response. I waved my hand dismissively. That spot is no longer mine to give. For fairness, let's have a vote. I helped the teacher deliver homework to the 5th floor. On the corridor, Cece blocked my path. Can we talk? I followed Cece to the platform on the 5th floor, which had the best view, overlooking the schoolyard. Cece chuckled first. I should have guessed. Lynn, you've reincarnated too, right? I was too tired to pretend anymore. Yes, so please behave yourself. Cece frowned, annoyance flashing in her eyes. What are you pretending for? Aren't you just someone who reincarnated into a wealthy family? Let me tell you, even if you reincarnate 100 times, you can't beat me. I want to see if you can still afford to study abroad if your family goes bankrupt. Saying this, she stepped up to the edge of the platform. Lynn, tell me, if I jumped off the building, would the school give me the recommendation? She pulled out her phone to record, tears streaming down instantly. Her voice panicked. Lynn, I know you've always looked down on me. Please, don't push me anymore. I really can't take it. Before I could react, suddenly a dark figure rushed over and embraced Cece. The two of them fell off the platform together. Screams. Everything happened too fast. There was blood all over the ground, and the students below screamed in horror. The person who had rushed down with Cece was Ray. He landed on top of Cece, nearly unharmed, while Cece was severely injured and fell into a coma. Later hospitalized, after diagnosis, Ray was found to have a mental illness and was released without charges. Cece wasn't so lucky. She suffered a spinal fracture and might be paralyzed for life. After Cece woke up, I visited her once as a representative of the students. The doctor said there's a 96% chance the surgery will be successful. After your surgery, try to start afresh. Seeing me, Cece was so angry her veins bulged. Mind your own business. I placed the fruit basket just out of her reach. I never understood why you hated me so much, given that I was never bad to you. Cece clenched her fist and gave a sinister smile. It's because you were too nice to me. Lynn, we met as children at the city's joint evening show, and you even gave me a cake. Back then, I thought since you gave me a cake, why not give me your wealthy dad and kind mom too? Later, I managed to do it, but unfortunately your parents were too loyal to you. Even after you died, they still loved you, so I tampered with their car and got a hefty compensation. It turns out that her parents' deaths in her previous life really were connected to her. Cece, malicious people won't meet a good end. Leaving the hospital room, I heard Cece smash the water glass on the table and scream, if I can't have peace, neither will you. Not long after I returned, Cece, despite her physical disabilities, started a live stream. In the stream, she applied makeup to look like she was injured and wept pitifully. My name is Cece. I am officially reporting Lynn from Class 7, Grade 12 at First Senior High School. For bullying me at school, her paralysis, and the frightening makeup quickly attracted a huge audience. Many unscrupulous reporters lined up to interview Cece. Cece provided detailed information. Soon, not just my personal information, but also the details about my dad's company and my mom's workplace were exposed and scrutinized thoroughly. People began boycotting my father's company's products, driving the company to the brink of bankruptcy. My mother was also suspended from her job. Despite everything, my parents didn't blame me. Instead, they comforted and protected me. Lynn, don't worry, falsehoods can't become truth. Your mom and dad believe in you. If it gets too much, you can always go abroad. This might be a good opportunity for us to relax as a family, but at night, I would see my father smoking on the balcony. He, a middle-aged man, was putting out resumes on job sites. Beneath my mother's bright smiles was evident sorrow, and her hair had turned significantly grayer. My classmates could testify for me, but the number of outraged netizens who didn't know the full story was overwhelming. Some people I didn't even know started blocking my way to and from school. Luckily, Brian was there to protect me. Aren't you angry? Brian playfully tried to cheer me up. Brother here mixes in the streets, and I value integrity. Don't worry, I've taken the bodyguard fee. I'll definitely protect you. Brian's eyes showed deep concern. Lynn, just say the word, and I'd do anything for you. I knew that with Brian's family's resources, handling this situation would be a trivial matter, but I wanted to handle it myself. What could be more satisfying than personally dealing with my enemies? Cece, I gave you a chance. You chose not to take it, so don't blame me for being ruthless. At noon, I put on a hat and a mask and went to a small restaurant frequented by loan sharks. I had just sat down when they walked in. I deliberately positioned myself so they could see the video playing on my phone screen. My name is Cece. I am officially reporting Lynn from Class 7, Grade 12 at First Senior High School. For bullying me at school, the group was instantly captivated. Holy smokes, boss, look, isn't that the little bitch who owes us money and hasn't paid us back? She's making so much money from live streaming and still not paying us back. To Qingshan Hospital. Let's go find her. While they caused a commotion at the hospital, Cece was undergoing surgery. Disturbed by the chaos, the surgery, which had a 96% chance of success, failed. When Cece woke up, she received the devastating news. Ignoring the thugs demanding money and trying to find the doctor, she demanded, how could a surgery with a 96% success rate fail? Who was the chief surgeon? I want to see the doctor who operated on me. The doctor who had performed her surgery, during the procedure, was dragged out by the loan sharks and hit his head against the hospital wall and was now lying in a hospital bed. To protect the doctor, the hospital refused to let Cece meet him. Frustrated, Cece picked up her phone and started a frenzied live stream from the hospital, gaining a lot of attention once again. The hospital, with no other choice, released video evidence. The thugs, who had been ignored until then, racy photos that Cece had mortgaged with them were also released. Oh my, what a spectacle. So she owes money and doesn't pay it back. Someone finds her and attacks the doctor at the hospital, and she still has the nerve to cause a disturbance. What decent student would take out loans with such high interest? Seeing the overwhelming negative comments online, Cece panicked. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was all Lynn. Lynn forced me. Still so professional, even at this time, she tirelessly tries to smear me. Unfortunately, public opinion had already shifted, so you just do what you're forced to. Don't you have a brain? Why do I feel like not a single word out of Cece's mouth is true? Meanwhile, I had Brian upload the video of Cece at Ray's house to the internet. Ah, it's just a fish, right? The kitten is so pitiful. It hasn't eaten. What's wrong with feeding it? Stop chasing me. I bought the fish. I didn't eat the fish. The cat ran away on its own. Why should I pay? When Cece first released this cat-loving video, it was very popular. I didn't expect such a turnaround. The way people once praised Cece to the skies, they now cursed her viciously. Ah, Ray. Isn't that the person who carried her down the stairs? Oh my, no wonder. I heard after she exposed him online, his business was ruined. Truly, what goes around comes around. The retribution is swift. Under continuous attacks, Cece became emotionally agitated and increasingly irrational. She yelled at the camera, "What are you doing? I'm the one who's hurt. I'm the one who's paralyzed. Why don't you pity me?" Instead of speaking for them, seeing Cece's distraught and agonized state, I pushed Grandma into the live stream. It was time to deliver the final blow. Cece nearly went mad upon seeing Grandma alive. Retreating and clutching her head, she wailed, "Impossible, impossible. You were supposed to be dead. How are you still alive? Don't come any closer. Stay away." Grandma wiped away her tears and apologized to the camera. "I'm sorry. I didn't raise Cece right. Everything she said before was a lie. Please don't believe her. I never imagined that my granddaughter, whom I took great pains to raise, would try to poison me for a large insurance payout. If it weren't for Lynn, I might have been dead." With the truth revealed, I handed over the evidence of Cece slandering me, along with her attempt at poisoning for insurance fraud, to the police. The police legally arrested Cece for defamation and attempted murder. "Ah, you wicked old woman, you didn't let me be born into a rich family. And now you ruin me." Cece crawled towards us like a madwoman, but security knocked her to the ground. As the police car arrived, she broke free and climbed onto a windowsill, shouting, "No, this isn't right, I want a redo." She jumped again. Unfortunately, she got her neck caught on a tree branch and survived. This time, she was not only paralyzed from the waist down but also from the neck down, completely incapacitated. Our family's life finally returned to peace. My dad's company even gained many guilt-driven fans, and our sales in 1 hour exceeded those of the days when production was stopped. On my 18th birthday, just like in my previous life, my parents were away on a business trip and couldn't return home. I held a birthday party at home. The day was very lively, and nobody mentioned Cece. It was as if she had never been part of our lives. After receiving birthday wishes and gifts from everyone, the party ended, and the house suddenly felt empty. A light rain began to drizzle from the sky. My heart grew more anxious. In my previous life, it was on a rainy night like this that Evan pried open the window of my house and destroyed me. To pretend to be asleep, I hadn't turned on any lights in the room. Amid the sound of the rain outside, the room seemed even quieter. All that could be heard was the swishing sound of the clock's second hand, along with mine and Brian's breathing. I was lying on the bed, and he on the floor. Cough, cough. Brian cleared his throat in the darkness. "Lynn, are you asleep?" "No." "Do you think Evan will really come tonight?" "I don't know." The atmosphere quieted down again. Bzzz. Brian's phone vibrated. I turned to face his gleaming eyes. "Lynn, it's midnight. What's that on your face?" "A monkey's butt." "Why so red?" I chuckled. "Yeah, thanks." Brian scratched his head, trying to lighten the mood. "Haha, you asked me here to protect you, but I feel like it's more dangerous now, just the two of us." "Ha ha ha ha." Brian's gaze fell on my lips. He swallowed and leaned in. Suddenly, a faint sound of the window being pried open could be heard. Evan had come after all. He had just reached the bed when Brian kicked him down to the floor. Punch after punch landed fiercely. Frustrated by the interruption, Brian fought viciously. "Speak. What was your purpose in doing this?" Brian demanded, stepping on Evan's face. "Ha ha 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 ha. I'm just a scumbag. To sleep with me is to profit. What other purpose do I need? Maybe I'd even leave you a child." Bang! Brian punched him so hard Evan's teeth fell out. If I hadn't stopped him, Evan might have been beaten to death. Before the police arrived, I secretly stuffed my mother's gold bracelet into Evan's pocket. Burglary is taken much more seriously than attempted rape. Evan was still boasting that he would be a hero again after getting out of jail. Little did he know that Brian had already made arrangements. Once he went in, he'd never have a chance to come out. On the day I went abroad to study, Brian arrived at the airport even before me. He was carrying a small suitcase. He handed me an envelope full of money. In the crowd, he smiled just as irritatingly as when we first met. "My English isn't good. This time it's your turn to protect me."